Hey everybody, welcome to Stupid O'Clock. It's the three amigos tonight. Don't know where John is, AWOL. Hello beautiful people, that means that's Keisha Acuff. Hey Keisha.
Hello, beautiful Keisha. Oh, yes. Well, I thought I had found the volume control on the headset itself, but it didn't do anything either. So
Oh, okay, so we got a
Mine,
whisper.
mine will
no,
operate on my cough button
Yeah.
because if I push to one end or the other, it'll raise and lower it too. So I don't know if yours is the same way or not.
Well,
no,
his is
mine.
wireless, so he's got no buttons
Yeah,
without
yep.
playing with the ears.
I've got
Well, my
I've
wireless
got an
ones have
on-off
them on
switch.
the ears.
I've got an on-off switch, and the rest of it's supposed to be in the computer, but it isn't. So I will have to go through the instruction booklet again and see whether, well, what it originally worked. It was quiet, and I was able to adjust the volume, but now it's just wide open.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll
Uh,
be all right.
but yeah, as I was telling
I
you
will
guys right beforehand, I fired a doctor today.
into outer space.
It's where he needs
Probably
to go.
wanted to.
Uh, Needless to say, this was, the specialist that I've been seeing. And as I'm sitting, as he's talking to me, the way he's talking, he says, "You're going to die from this. You know, you know, we need to start looking at possibly a transplant." I'm like, what the, he's trying to sign my death certificate. I mean, I was so mad at him. I didn't even look at the paperwork they give you when you leave the doctor's office.
Mhm.
Showed it to my primary care doctor, and they're going, that don't sound right. And then they open the paperwork, and they go, that's not anything. Have you looked at this? I said, would you look at that after being talked to that way? This doctor has not even done as much as a poke or a prod on my belly.
Mm.
He's not
Wonderful
even
bedside manner.
he's not even put the stethoscope in his ears. So yeah, I'm not going back to see him.
I had my primary care doctor that I was about ready to get rid of, and I found out he's leaving anyway.
Good. Yeah,
Yeah, and
Stephanie,
so
we're dissing on doctors today. I fired one.
Oh, okay. Should I
Yeah,
ask? You probably already have explained to everybody else.
yeah. Well, I've explained it, but basically, this I told you about a condition that I've got that came from out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this doctor's not put his stethoscope in his ears, and he hasn't poked or prodded on my body, touched my body anywhere.
Hmm.
And he's ready to sign my death certificate. The way
You're
he talks.
kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's time to find a new doctor, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
I just, it was like, and come to find out, he's one of these young doctors
Mm-hmm.
who's, he's specialized, but he's not 30 yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
He thinks he's
yeah.
seeing all there is to see and hasn't got
Yeah.
a clue.
Is his last name Frankenstein?
No,
No, you'd probably get better care.
probably.
Yeah.
Well, let's just
That-
say it's the Indian name for Smith.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Now, wait a minute. American or the other one?
The
Probably
other
the
one.
other one.
The other one. Okay.
Yeah, Walter Flack says his primary care is nothing more than a router to other doctors.
Well, and a lot of them, they just want to jump in, talk to you for 5 or 6 minutes, sign off on your meds, see you in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this doctor
And charge your insurance.
and
Mhm.
this doctor's not even written me a prescription yet.
Oh boy.
Here, take vitamins.
How long have you had them?
A month.
Yeah. He didn't write out his
Internship.
internship there. Time to find another one.
Yep. And my primary care was getting mad at the stories I was telling. They're going, no. Okay,
And you said this was a specialist?
yeah. So I will not be dealing with that person.
Oh, hey Donna,
act-
I'm sorry I didn't see your comment.
Oh, and where was I going with it?
With you?
Yeah.
You'll have to tell us.
I told her I want somebody else. I want a doctor from a different medical group to as a second opinion. She goes, absolutely. I want this doctor to form his own opinion, not just look at, a bunch of records and going, okay, if there's a problem here, let's figure out what's wrong.
Carl's got it.
Yeah, absolutely. I need a drag wire, so you need a transplant. Yeah.
Brand new 280Z. That money is spent.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the paperwork they give you when you leave, Steph.
Mm-hmm.
She started looking at it. She goes, "Did you read any of this?" I said, "After you're told, after the way he spoke to me, do you think I want to stop and read that?" Everything that he said was not on the paperwork.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Well, I
Oh,
went
I
to a
had-
specialist. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I've got
No, I
a
was
couple
just
stories. It's gonna take a while.
Oh, okay. Let me get comfy. No, I was just going to say to Joe, I had a specialist I went to see that was referred to by my worthless primary care doctor. And I got the itchy eyes and runny nose down in my throat and all this. And I've never had these issues before. I've never been allergic to anything before, but they say you can develop allergies later in life. And so, anyway, all he wanted to do is prescribe meds to me. And I'm hinting around about, because I never been allergic to anything, to see whether it's a seasonal allergy or something different, which I'm quite certain it's not seasonal, because I have this same problem year round, no matter what the weather is. I wanted him to get out the needles and do all the little tests and stuff, and he would not do it. He started me on Zyrtec, then went to we did one other one before that. I forget the name of that one, and then Zyrtec, and then Claritin, and none of which helped. And the one thing I noticed, they were all 10 milligram pills that you take once a day. So I just started Googling on my own. Now, after 6 months of nothing good happening, and I got Allegra. Is it any different than the rest of them? Time will tell, but one thing is definitely different with them. Where all the other ones are all 10 milligram pills, Allegra is a 180 milligram pill.
Allegra works.
Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping.
Okay.
But, once again, I figure, why should I go find this out from them, have my insurance company pay them money to buy their Jaguar, as Carl would say? And I would say, let them have a Jaguar, just the 4-legged kind.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, one thing that, my primary care looked at is, well, they said your platelet count is 98, which is, almost, what is that? Hemophiliac? Where you bleed, you can't clot.
Mm-hmm.
They drew like 6 vials of blood on me at the doctor's office. And I just, when they pulled the thing out, I put my hand over right there. I said, can I see something for a minute? She says, what? And I pulled it off, stretched my arm a couple times. What do you know? It's not bleeding.
What in the name of common sense is the matter with these people?
The girl
You
that
ran out of blood.
The girl that took my blood goes, I've never seen that. I said, yeah. And they say my platelet count's low. She goes, not in that arm.
Yeah, you need a fifth opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, they take my blood work at the primary doctor, and then they take my blood work out with this guy. And my blood work from this guy is completely out of whack from what the primary care doctor has.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Heather. We're talking bad about the medical profession right now, or at least one doctor.
So I can add a few more if you're interested.
All right, let's hear them.
Well, so I had this one doctor. She started out pretty good, and then the longer I went to her, it just kind of tapered off downhill. And it really reached a nadir when I got a phone call from her clinic. Ma'am, you need to come in and have a bone density scan. And I'm like, why? Because you've had a hysterectomy, you need to come in and have a bone density scan. Now, I've had a partial hysterectomy. I lift weights, I eat lots of dairy products, I don't have a problem. Well, ma'am, the doctor says you need to come in. And I'm like, you have the doctor call me, tell me personally that I need to come in, and explain to me exactly why to my satisfaction, and I'll come in. A couple days later, the doctor calls up. You need to come in for a bone density scan. No, I don't. Well, ma'am, you've had a hysterectomy. No, I've had a partial hysterectomy. I still have one ovary. It's still making hormones. Well, but you're of that age. I lift weights. I eat plenty of dairy. I eat plenty of protein. I've got solid muscle. I don't need a bone density scan. Oh, well, I guess you don't then. And so she hung up, and on the news that night, I saw where her clinic had just gotten a brand new bone density scanner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guess what they were trying to pay for?
Yeah, really.
Then I had another doctor. I left her shortly thereafter and was kind of in between doctors for a while. The next doctor I had, um, okay, so y'all know my background. Y'all know my educational background and stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't like to be talked down to, which between the female and the blonde hair tends to happen a lot. So I usually lead off with the doctors with an explanation that I have these degrees. And yeah, okay, no, I'm not a medical doctor, but talk to me like, don't talk down to me, talk to me, as a professional. And this one guy that normally takes care of things. This one guy that I'm not sure if it affronted his ego or if it scared him or what, but he turned into a contrarian. If I said up, he'd say down. If I said red, he'd say blue. If I said white, he'd say black. If I said plaid, he'd say stripes.
Sounds like he had it
So,
out for you or something.
yeah. Um, so when I was a kid, when I was a tot, I had a bad case of pneumonia, real bad case of pneumonia, as in rush me to the ER case of pneumonia. And I've had a couple of cases since, and I know what it feels like, and I know what it feels like to have the flu going into bronchitis. And I know that the bronchitis, from personal experience, can go into pneumonia. And so I had picked up the flu that was going around the office, and I got over it, and it went into bronchitis. And I'm like, I don't like the way this is headed. I'm going to go to the doctor and see if I can't get around of antibiotics to nip this in the bud. And so I did, and it was this guy, and he was like, and I told him, I said, I've had the flu that's going around, it's gone in, settled in my chest. I've had pneumonia a few times. I don't want to go there again. You don't have pneumonia. I didn't say I did. I said I've had the flu. It's settled in my chest. I don't want it to go into pneumonia. Well, you don't have pneumonia. And so I then spent the next 2.5 hours being run through tests. I had X-rays. I had blood work. I had he put me on. It was a diagnostic for asthma, and it was a giant tabletop inhaler, and it used the same stuff that are in asthma inhalers. And you're supposed to be on there a certain amount of time, and then they check to see what your lung capacity is before and after, and all this kind of stuff. So you're only supposed to be on there for like no more than 5 minutes, because I'm sitting there. They went off and left me, and I'm sitting there reading the instructions on the machine, and they left me on there for 20 minutes. Now, I have anxiety disorder, and this, knows it. I was vibrating when I came off of that thing. Um, and then I got to look at the x-rays. Now, after a number of years of experience, as well as some things doing a lot of lab work, including x-ray, chromatography, and diffractometry, and some stuff like that, I can read an x-ray. I can read a seismograph. I can look at these things and I can read them. I don't claim to be expert in all of them, but I can read them enough to know what I'm seeing. And I'm going, oh, look at it right there. There's the infection in my lung right there. And so I was given a diagnosis of, get this, okay, unspecified diminished lung capacity, and given a prescription for an antibiotic targeted to pneumonia. But he absolutely refused to diagnose me with pneumonia because I had come in saying that I didn't want to go into pneumonia. So he had to do something different. So yeah, I there are a few doctors that I trust. Um, oh, they got cultures. They did. They did all of that. I was in there for over 2 hours. I wound up. At that point in time, I was tutoring, and I missed a couple of students because the doctor wouldn't let me out of his office until he had proved that I didn't have pneumonia.
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah.
That's about right.
yep.
Oh.
These days, a doctor has to prove himself or herself to me before I will trust them.
Mm.
I've had enough bad experiences. I had one doctor cut on me because I came in with nausea and vomiting, and oh, because I was a female of a certain age, obviously it was my gallbladder, so they rushed me in for emergency surgery and cut out my gallbladder. I was still having the symptoms. A year later of these symptoms, on top of the dumping syndrome caused by the loss of the gallbladder, they finally diagnosed it correctly as duodenal ulcers. They gave me a round of antibiotics. I was okay.
Mm. That reminds me of the when the drunk driver pulled out in front of my motorcycle as I was passing through a traffic light, and wound up with broken bones and torn ligaments in my right wrist and tibia plateau fracture in my left knee.
Ooh.
And the first doctor I went to wanted to operate on my wrist and said, "Oh, we don't have to touch your knee; it'll grow back all right by itself. But we're just going to have to go in here in your wrist and put in 6 or 8 plates and some cables and maybe a couple of wire ties and some nuclear batteries and whatever the fuck we can come up with for the bionic man." And I looked at the guy that my best friend and roommate at the time and said, I believe I need to get a second opinion. And the doctor says, "Oh, no, you don't need a second opinion." And I go, excuse me, my company insurance requires us to get a second opinion before surgery. And he goes, "No, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I've been your company's doctor for years, and that's not." And I go, "Sorry, dude, it's in the contract. Uh, Insurance states that if there's any proposed surgery, we have to. We cannot have the surgery without getting a second opinion." And then I looked at my friend and I go, "Get me out of here." So set up an appointment with the uh, doctor that treats the University of Georgia football team for their high impact injuries. And he goes, "I got to put a couple of screws in your knee, but your wrist will be fine if you just wear this cast for a while." It's one of those wraparound Velcro things.
Yeah.
I mean, if we do anything to your wrist, it's never going to be right. It's just going to be worse than it ever was, worse than it is now. But believe me, if I don't bolt them fragments of the top of your tibia together, you're going to limp for the rest of your life.
Jeez.
And it
So
turns out
exactly the opposite of what the other guy said.
exactly the opposite, and turns
Mhm.
out the second doctor was right. I've got a couple of titanium Phillips head screws in the top of my lower leg bone there, right under my kneecap. And I looked at the X-rays and I go, "Damn! If I knew they were Phillips head, I could have done it myself, except for the anesthetics."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, but that's why they pay me the big bucks. I need to know what size of Phillips head screws to put in through them bones."
Well, when I was getting my disability, finally, applying for disability and all that, they sent me to one of the imaging places here to get an X-ray of my back, and she was a new girl, so she hadn't learned to, look at something and be silent. When that popped up, she went, "Ooh." I said, "Can I take a look at that?" And she goes, "Yeah, if you want to." So I went to look. Man, there's screws like this and bars and plates. I said, "Are you new here?" She goes, "Yeah, I've been here about 6 months." I said, "Is it that bad?" She goes, "It's the first one I've seen like that."
Just, you got a whole erector set in there.
Oh,
Laura had
Oh.
horrible arthritis in her thumb to the point to where no medication was doing anything. CBD was rapidly going the same route, and
Hmm.
the this part from here to here in her left thumb no longer exist. They scraped, I don't know how much um, arthritis off of it, got it down to where they had this connected down here with a metal plate and 3 screws. And so this thumb is about like this compared to this one. But she is pain free. And because they did take all that arthritis off, she won't have that, well, for at least a very long time.
Mm.
all right,
And much this
I'll be back in just a minute.
okay. And much the same with the rotator cuff surgery, um, being that they could not do what they had originally was going to do as far as uh, screwing in the anchors.
Mm.
The bone was so soft, they just had to tighten things up. They scraped all the arthritis off of the shoulder and then tightened up all the tendons and ligaments and that around there to where it wouldn't dislocate again. But she's probably looking for total shoulder replacement surgery probably this time next year.
What is that shot that they give the athletes that lets them?
Cortisone.
Could be, yeah. That lets them just
Yeah.
ignore the pain while they're supposed to take it easy and heal.
It
There's a
yeah, that's a band-aid and not a very good band-aid,
yeah,
depending on the
there was a
injury.
lady at work that she'd go in about every 6 months for a cortisone shot, and she didn't feel the pain anymore, so she kept on doing the same stuff that she was doing that caused the injury to start with. So it just got worse and it got worse and it got. After about 2.5, maybe 3 years, she wound up on total disability and was able to retire 20 years early.
Mhm.
And she's, now that she's not there doing the stuff that was basically doing the damage, it is finally healing. But we're of an age, so she's never going to be 100% ever again. And I did finally, through dint of hard effort, find the volume setting for the headset and crank it down. Turns out it's like 5 steps into the menus for the computer's sound settings. So now I've got both selections for the Bluetooth headset down to 50% and everything's fine. And I've got the speakers up to 90%, and the speakers aren't on right now, but when I turn the headset off and want to use the speakers, that's fine. Um, I was having trouble mixing music because I was having to use the headset or plug in a different set of headphones, and that was getting annoying. But now I can actually use the stereo speakers when I'm not using the headset, not in StreamYard or Green Room or anything else. It's just It's so nice when they finally find the right setting to adjust. And they hide it really well. You got to be
Yeah.
stubborn. You got to be stubborn and keep looking and keep poking around in there.
I like Carl's comment about the family reunion, talking about the doctors and that. Yes, this is the sectogenarian hour here on Stupid O'Clock.
Not quite, but I'll be there entirely too soon.
Well, Lewis threw me under the bus, said I was already there when I turned 60 last week.
No.
But anyway, um, so I was going to wait till Joe got back.
Wait till your father gets home.
Yeah, wait till your Joe dog gets home. And
oh wow, Russian bots again.
I don't know. They're just saying hello. Saudi
Good night,
home
Heather.
from
Good night,
Saudi
Heather.
Arabia. Yeah. Good night, Heather.
Well, be polite and we won't kick you from the channel, whoever you are.
Yep. We talk to a lot of people from different countries, and
Yep.
we just don't talk politics or religion, but we
Oh,
talk
wow.
everything else.
Okay, now the world is coming to an end. Carl's going to try and stay awake for Last Man Standing. This is the Doomsday Book has been closed. This is it. Oh Lord.
Carl, we accept your challenge. Ironically, had kind of a weird thing happen. Of course, everybody knew about David Warner passing away a few days back, and then not long after that, Paul Sorvino, and kept waiting for the second shoe, or in this case, the third shoe to drop.
It's
that
dropped.
was today.
Tony down.
Yeah, well, it dropped prematurely originally.
Yeah, but it's official now.
Yeah, it's official now, and then, of course, MeTV is doing some Leave It to Beaver episodes this Sunday in remembering Tony Dow. So, but yeah, they it was CNN leaked it, said he was dead when he was actually still alive in hospice care. And
there has been a fourth shoe drop.
Oh.
Bernard Cribbins.
Don't recognize the name.
Where do I know that name from?
From Doctor Who and from Right Said Fred.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yep. Fortunately, all of his parts for the 60th anniversary of the show have already been filmed, and any outtakes will probably wind up as a special in memoriam feature on future DVDs or whatever.
Right.
So, all Doctor Who fandom is saying a blessed farewell to an honored member of the family, basically. He was the first Doctor Who thing he was in was the theatrical movies with Peter Cushing as the Doctor, and then he showed up in the revival series, the 2005 stuff, as Donna's grandfather, and it's one of those things. We knew it was coming. We just was hoping it would be quite a bit later. Yeah. Well,
do you recall how old he was?
I do not, and I'm not really wanting to look it up, but
Mm.
last I saw from um, on-set footage during the filming, he was in a wheelchair. So, and he did look
He
like,
was 93 according to Entertainment Weekly.
well, he had a damn good run.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because the Peter Cushing movies were mid '60s, wasn't they?
Yep, yep, mid or late. Um,
Mm.
Probably. Well, let's see. The first one was based on the first ever Dalek story, which would have been December or thereabouts of '63 or January of '64. So
Mm.
it took a while to get the moves, and it's really weird, but there were callbacks to the Peter Cushing movies in not David Tennant, but Matt Smith's era when they
Mm.
had the very brightly colored Daleks showed up, and I just looked at it and I go, yeah, that's an homage to the movies because everything is in Technicolor
Hmm.
instead of being drab. This is brightly painted. So you really don't know how to react to a safety yellow Dalek, do you? I mean, you're either
Well,
running in fear or you're just going, that ain't right.
at the very least, you react with caution. You, not not to throw a 90-degree curve on the subject here, but you mentioned DVDs a little while ago. Reminded me of something I saw today at Wally World. The Blu-ray of The Beatles Get Back, the documentary Get Back,
Hmm.
is out. Uh,
Oh,
believe it's 34.95. Quite a few DVDs in this. I will be looking to probably get the regular DVD since
yeah.
I don't have a Blu-ray player. But
We don't have one yet either. I don't even have one built in the computer, and nowadays they don't even come with any kind of optical drive. You're just supposed to plug stuff in through the USB port and whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to. Let's just say things are moving quite regular.
Mm. Oh, and Joe, I did find the right volume control to crank the headphones down finally.
Oh, so I can start talking a little louder now.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
I can I can mute you entirely.
So can I, Dan. What'd you say? We couldn't hear you.
oh, I was just messing with Dan.
Uh, I see we have a new viewer tonight who started
Yes.
who started following us from YouTube, and he's
Mhm.
followed us or from Twitch and followed us over to YouTube. So I'm terrible at saying names, but thank you, sir, for the follow from Switch over to you from Twitch switching over to YouTube. Uh,
Mohammed Al Rashid.
okay.
Yes, that's what I was
Now,
just trying to figure
I'm
out.
I'm not I'm not certain that I'm pronouncing it all correctly, but I believe that that's as close as I can get with my
Yeah.
accent. I do have that horrible Southern accent.
Well, we're
Yeah.
good
Ju-
at it.
and just to keep from having further embarrassment, we'll refer to you as Frank.
Mm.
He said he's. I don't know if he said he was.
He's from Saudi Arabia.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know if he said he was home from Saudi Arabia or that was his home. I wasn't
I
certain
would
how
I would
to
say
read it.
probably that is home base. I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
I would guess. Yes.
He comes from Saudi Arabia,
Yep.
Okay.
so his English is a little, his spelling's a little off. But hey,
Hey,
we could.
Whose isn't?
Who's busy?
his English is a whole lot better than my Arabian, or
Yeah,
whatever it is. Well, I'm sure that Arabian is the wrong term. But,
and there is Dan Darden.
hey, Dan, how you doing? Uh, oh no, I have the most atrocious Southern accent. Yeah,
Hey,
and
I can't help because other people can't talk like we do.
you ought to hear me when I'm trying to talk to some of the French engineers. I'm going, dude. So, hey, write that down and I can read it. Just don't even try and speak English. Just write it down. I know you can. I know you can. You've got the education. I can make more sense of it
Just
than trying to get through the accent.
Dan, remember, just end every sentence with ha 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 ha, and they'll understand you perfectly.
No, it doesn't go like that. No, they're trying to tell me technical details about laboratory stuff, and I'm going. There's words missing or something, and just there's a couple of guys that they're brilliant. They've got a great education. They it's just obvious that English is a second language for them to speak, and
Just as long as they mean laboratory and not laboratory.
I don't do any experiments in the toilet, so you know that's just that's more of explosive decompression or emergency evacuation procedures. Um, what stereotype, Dan? I am admitting my ignorance of the Middle East. That's all. There are a lot of languages over there, and in any case, I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Well,
Ah,
there's a lot of languages here in the Middle West too, and that's where I live. So,
well, yeah, there.
but Joe, we covered the passing of David Warner, Paul Sorvino, Tony Dow, and then
Bernard
now
Cribb.
Dan
Bernard Cribbins, yeah.
Bernard Cribbin. And David Warner was in so much that was so great that I have to say I loved him best in Time Bandits. He was evil incarnate in Time Bandits, but in a funny way. If you could be evil and funny at the same time, you watch David Warner on Time Bandits.
I was quite fond of his part in Tron myself.
Mm-hmm.
No, the Southern is bad trope. Nah, well, it was more
Carl,
of a joke.
Stephanie had an Amazon delivery she had to go grab at the door.
Ah,
It's late. Wow.
Hey, it's an hour earlier over there.
Yeah, it's 8:45 here.
yeah, they usually say by 9 p.m., so they were pushing it this time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they usually are. This is usually. It's funny because I get the notification of when it goes out for delivery around 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, but they're always pushing 9 o'clock. Sometimes they're after 9 o'clock
mm-hmm.
before they get it to me.
Okay.
Was it another stupid o'clock T-shirt?
No, it was. I got tired of burning my hands in my car this summer, so I got me some driving gloves, and I also got a couple of. I got the bruise from where I smushed my foot last Saturday
Yeah.
is still about 48 shades of the rainbow, mostly black and blue, with a little bit of that funky green thrown in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I got me some. So I got me some stuff to rub on that will hopefully help it.
Yeah. Whoever is doing your deliveries, They definitely need to work on their program, because what you do is, this is comes from my experience with the city and all other things, is you run your route pretty much on the right side of the road all the way out to the farthest thing, and then back in back to distribution
Well,
distribution center on the right. So that way, when you know when you start heading back towards town, you're halfway through the day. But if they
well,
got you at 9 o'clock, you're on the end of the damn list.
honey, I'm not complaining about it because okay, the brown trucks.
Yeah,
If something comes on the brown trucks, I get them. All right. In the last 2 weeks, the post office has lost me $150 worth of merchandise in the last 2 weeks.
yeah, that,
And the most recent one is I collect Native American jewelry, handmade jewelry, and they lost two pendants worth nearly $100 together, and it's
That is
gone.
that is not good. Nope.
No,
Was it
I'm not a
insured?
happy. I could not insure it through the vendor, so the answer is no. It was not.
Time to change vendors,
You
We
will.
especially with jewelry.
we actually had one delivery driver last week that Lindsay took photographs of the aftermath and reported him. Not only did he tear up the yard, but he didn't even try to come to the door. He just threw the boxes out the back of the truck and raced off. In the rain, in the mud. The next guy, same company, next guy, totally different experience. Um, could not be more helpful. I mean, it everything was just absolutely perfect. And Lindsay actually found somebody while I was at work that was trying to start their own lawn care business and got a deal on fixing the damage to the yard and straightened everything out before I could even get home and attempt to do it myself. So
well,
I
Well,
was
you
we've
need to send
been.
an invoice on that repair.
Yeah.
well. She thought the complaint from a loyal customer was going to be enough. I don't know. I can't do anything. It was her package. It was her delivery. Everything's in her name. So if I complain, they're not going to listen. If somebody messes
Uh,
up a delivery to me, yeah, I can complain.
Well, do you own the
me-
property?
Oh Lord, yeah.
Okay, you have a right to complain. You are the property owner.
You
Okay.
have to continually follow up on it too, because they'll want to quiet things as quickly as possible. I don't know which company you're talking about,
Well,
but
that's the point.
it's
That's the point of me not saying what company it
right.
was, because we get
But
all the companies here.
yeah,
well, let me
is
put
it
it to you like.
UPS that only? Oh, go ahead.
Let me put it to you like this, okay? Um, it's so bad that a few years ago, uh, USPS headquarters sent down a manager for our post office to be over the postmaster for our post office and to straighten it out. And he was here for about a year, and he did indeed straighten things out because I'm not the only person to complain about this stuff. And after he left, things slowly started sliding back the way they were, and now they're as bad as they ever were.
Mm.
Um, it's never anything ordinary that goes missing. It's never a pair of cheap socks. It's never a shipment of ink pens. You know, it's
It's never
always something
it's
like,
never the junk mail.
yeah, it's never the junk
Yeah,
stuff. It's never the ordinary stuff. It's
never the
always
bills.
the jewelry or the perfumes or the latest, one of the latest things to go missing about a week back was, I'm severely insulin resistant, bordering on diabetic. I order diabetic socks to keep my feet comfortable. Diabetic socks, the ones that I order are not cheap, but they keep my feet free of pain. They fit my legs, they don't constrict. And whole shipment just suddenly went missing. They're nice looking socks too. Went bye bye.
That
And
sounds like
now the two pendants.
that
So
sounds
I
like
mean these are not mass manufactured pendants either. These were handmade by Navajo craftsmen. And so you tell me why the expensive stuff, and only the expensive stuff, is getting up and walking away.
Well, I
No
think
brainer.
everybody knows why. I think somebody at your post office has a little sideline business.
It's not a business. They just got a sticky fingers.
Well,
I, well, I've had the guy that I talked to today at the post office was like, well, we'll look into it and see if we can't find it for you, but we can't promise anything. And I'm like, where have I heard that one before? And if you haven't heard from me by Monday, give me a call back. Sarah, how can you tell the way they get handled? Some of them look fine, and others look like, they've been beat to where and back.
Yeah.
If I haven't heard from him from Monday, by Monday I'm supposed to call him, and what he doesn't realize is, as soon as I get off the phone with him on Monday, I'm contacting the postmaster general and I'm filing a complaint. I've had enough of this.
yeah.
I am a new widow, handicapped. I do most of my shopping online because it hurts to go into a big box store. I'm on limited income. Do not play these games with me. I'm not stupid. Blonde withstanding, I'm not stupid.
I would
And I've
call the
had enough.
postmaster general first tomorrow and then call your post office on Monday
I want to
and
give
ask
them
them
a
if
chance.
they found it. And if they didn't find it, say, okay, well, I got to tell you, I called the postmaster general back on Friday. Let's see how
Uh,
quick you find it now.
I'm going to give them an opportunity to find it.
Hmm. Not being argumentative, but I think you've already gave them that opportunity a couple times.
Yeah.
I'm going to give them one more. Because I really, 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 really want these pendants. They're gorgeous, and I'm hoping that they'll find them. I'm not holding my breath, but our neighborhood has what I call the little mailbox house. Like we have individual houses, but this thing is kind of like you would see in, say, an apartment complex where all of the mailboxes are together. And so occasionally it gets put into the wrong mailbox.
Yes.
And sometimes they can go back and track it down and find it, especially if it's in a mailbox that's not currently being used because there's nobody living in that house. I've had a couple of things come back to me like that. So the other alternative is, if they actually did put it in the wrong mailbox, then whoever got it has decided to keep it. Because they never get returned to me.
Yeah, our mailbox is in the community building for the apartments that I live in. They're basically lockers. They're like small school lockers. And when the mailman comes in to put the mail and everything, instead of opening every one up individually, he has a key that goes in on the top, turns it, and the whole thing comes out on a pivot, so he can dump them into whatever slot much quicker.
There's one big door that's locked that opens up on the back of ours, and they stick them in. The problem with that is there's a lip around the front where we go in to get them, and they will shove a box in there that can't come out the front.
Right. Yeah, I've
And
had
so
that
then
happen.
you gotta literally tear the thing apart to get it out. So yeah, we have problems with our local mail post office.
They had some, well, where I used to live over by Batestown, closer to Carl and Donna, the mailman over there typically was really pretty good, but then the one that delivered a little bit west of us on Batestown Road and down that way, those people actually were on the local news complaining that they weren't getting mail for 5 days to a week at a time, and uh, didn't know what was going on. Said that they would see the the post office Jeep driving by down the whole street and going around the corner and coming back up the other way and not stopping one time to deliver one piece of mail. It showed up on several people's Ring doorbell cameras, and found out, yeah, they didn't feel like they wanted to deliver it that day, or they wanted to get off a little early, so they put it away and
They
found
drove the
out that
route and didn't stop.
drove the route, didn't stop. He was taking the mail home with him. And on the
Oh, that's
days when he didn't have
pretty
so
illegal.
people, if you can imagine, people that were expecting whether it be checks or even bills in the mail that had to be paid by a certain time weren't getting them.
And that's what
And
worries me
mhm,
because I've got this situation now to where it's just me and there's only just me to chase it, you know? And I'm worried about the bills.
yeah, you're right, Walt. Hello, Newman.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it in your neck of the woods they found all the packages that were just thrown off down in the ravine?
Mhm. Not
Hmm.
just packages, but mail and everything.
Yep. Um, that kind of reminded me of the Terry Pratchett novel Going Postal. And they walk into the post office and find that it is full of stuff that has never been delivered for generations.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
it's been quite some years now since the child in question is now an adult with kids of her own. But I mean, that's how long we've been living. Daryl and I have been living in this house. But at one point, my sister in law went through her entire pregnancy with her and her mama writing us once a week. And during that whole 9 month period, we got 3 letters, and none of them mentioned the pregnancy. And we came home for Christmas, and she had a baby, and we were like, because we had no clue.
yeah. Oh,
Because all of the to this day, we don't know what became of those letters.
yeah. They don't call it the dead letter office for nothing, but in this case, it was the dead letter ravine.
Hmm.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. People get overwhelmed and don't know what to do or can't figure out the right thing to do. And the wrong thing is too easy.
Yeah, but the right thing to do is simply do your job. Think about other people, do your job. It's not hard. Anyway.
This is true. Oh, I have found that Salon Pass strips, the adhesive strips, do a wonder on the sciatica.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, salon paws. Yeah, I didn't ever
Yeah,
think about that.
they are absolutely wonderful, and now I don't have to worry about shredding my kidneys with so many over-the-counter painkillers. Um, and Just yesterday ordered a I don't want to call it gel foam, and it's not memory foam, but a seat cushion for especially for people with sciatica,
Oh,
and
okay.
it'll show up in a week or two, and then we will find out whether or not that does any good. But I'm going, hey, these things I know they're good for 8 hours. Not supposed to use too many of them at one time. But when you've got shooting pains from the middle of your back all the way down to your ankle, just on one leg and not the other, uh, any kind of pain relief is good. And then it was just last week the over the counter stuff was not even making a dent.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I might as well be eating Piz or Tic Tacs or M&Ms instead of the quote unquote pain relievers because there wasn't no relief. It was just well, the
I'll
bottle's
give you
getting
some
empty, but I'm
peppermints here,
still
Dan.
hurting. Hey, yeah, well, but these things and really, I can understand why uh, people my age and older have the half full jar of icy heat and stuff like that in their medicine cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, because turns out sometimes that's what it takes. I mean, you've got
Oh,
that's what works, that's what you use.
Laura always used the frozen bag of peas on her shoulder
Hmm.
after therapy because, of course, for one, it would conform to her shoulder, but she'd do 20 minutes on and 20 minutes off with the bag of peas.
yeah.
Well, these things do not have the overpowering menthol smell that you would get
Hmm.
from like icy heat or I don't mentholate them. No, mentholate them is a nasal
Oh,
cream.
Bengay.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. I couldn't remember it.
I've
But
used mentholate. Don't. Hey, I've used mentholatum for a muscle rub.
really, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
it works.
well, I guess it
Stephanie,
would.
since you're the weather person, you're going to love this. It is completely dry outside, and we're hearing thunder that is shaking the house.
I'm jealous.
Lovely.
I haven't heard anything. I haven't gotten anything. And it's
Now,
it's getting dry out there.
We have been having downpours just about on a daily basis for the last 3 weeks. I mean, it is just whatever you're not getting, we're getting. You're
Joe
welcome.
Dog,
Yeah,
you're fixing to get it,
yeah. I was just looking at that.
and,
It's
and it
coming.
came right through us dry.
Mm.
so where was it that had the hailstorm recently? I'm wanting to say it was in Texas yesterday or last night or whatever, and they had so much hail they had to get the the
Snow.
trucks that would clear off the snow off the and it was so much hail it looked like snow just so that people could pass down the highways.
Snowplows and grit trucks. Yeah. I'm not sure where that was. I vaguely remember reading about it, but now that we no longer use the satellite dish, uh, all my weather comes through the computer's apps for weather. And
Well,
Stephanie telling
hey,
me when there's been a CME coming this way.
well, hey, aren't you glad it's not snowing right now? Could you imagine having to shovel 4 to 6 inches of that crap in this heat? I figured I'd get a kick out of Stephanie on that one. Dan's like,
I got to have a long talk with that boy.
Well, I,
Bill's
I
just gonna sit here and not do anything.
Dan, I actually saw the episode the other night to where these girls found out Jethro had mini TVs in the house. So they
Hmm.
so Jethro all these girls were coming over to Jethro's house into the parlor, and Granny asked Jed, "Have you ever had a talk with that boy?" I've been meaning to, but I don't think I need to now.
No, you still need to because he ain't got the slightest clue. Oh,
Yeah, the girls were football fans and were using him to watch the game.
uh-huh. Still need to have a long talk with that boy. Just not a short talk, a long talk with that boy.
Well,
Uh,
I'm gonna have to watch my humor now, so I can't stand another band because it's coming into promotion time.
yep. Well, you can still say it on YouTube. You just can't post it on.
Facebook.
The, I wasn't going to say the name. I wasn't going to give them the
I'm gonna
pleasure.
say it.
Any
Facebook sucks.
any
I
any
was,
company run by Meta.
Oh, did you
mm,
hear they're getting sued
For the
Yep.
name.
for the
couldn't
name?
happen. Couldn't
Good,
happen to a nicer bunch of people.
cause
Come to
cause they
find
By
come to
who
find
though?
out, there is a Meta AI and VR company. That's their name, Meta AI and VR. Their business has tanked because of the Facebook switch.
which they protested to begin with, and
Yeah,
Facebook ignored them.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Now they'll just pay him off.
Or by the company.
Mm.
yeah, but this is yeah. Carl's right. I need to watch what I said 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh Lord, I remember what you said 4 to 5 years ago. You're in a little bit of trouble. They're just going to go post by post and give you 30 days for every one.
Meta is also in trouble right now and might be facing future lawsuits because of teen suicides on one of the Meta run social media outlets that I won't mention, but a lot of teens that are um, trying to be have a certain status. When they cannot get that status, they don't know how to handle it because they're freaking teenagers, that are full of emotions and everything else, full of drama. But a lot of them are going the route of suicide or attempted suicides, and now that's brought Meta into the spotlight again. Not in a good way, obviously, because of that.
Obviously. And do they care? Nah.
Well, I'm sure they'll be very diplomatic about it, but
Yeah, Carl's got a
You've got a point. Yep. But now they're using social media as a yardstick,
Yeah,
mhm.
whereas before it was not quite as much of a reach. It was more of a local, cultural thing. And now that
yeah.
now that Facebook is the culture, or TikTok, or Twitch, or Twitter, or whatever.
and Carl
Um,
says you can't even use that word
yeah, that's right.
in self harm.
um,
Oh, but we
also
can watch
too,
videos about serial killers.
that I
Yeah.
saw in the news about certain media outlets that the shooters from um, the schools and everywhere recently um, were known to be seen on there and doing their little TikTok videos and such. The one shooter, I can't remember his name, uh, but he used a name, something outside rapper or something like that, or almost rapper or whatever. And where he was talking about all the stuff that he wanted to do before he actually did it, to the point where he was doing rap videos or, creating rap songs, which I know is a contradiction of terms, and then little pieces of artwork showing police killing the shooters, among others as well. They want to get in there to where they can legally get in, find these disturbed people prior to the point of no return, and be able to legally do something about it to cut them off, which is a slippery slope legally, as you might figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all the mental thing that's causing the problems with them,
Okay.
and they're not living in the real world. They're living in that virtual world, where the whatever avatar that they are, or whatever name that they use in the TikTok videos or anything else, that's more real to them than anything else. So they're trying to incorporate that in the true real world.
And Carl's got a point there. Yeah. The actual rate may not be any higher. It's more
Visible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I was groping for the word. Um,
Did you say groping?
Have any of y'all noticed when you go to the doctor, sometimes they ask you the question, have you thought about harming yourself or other people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Well,
when I get your bill,
no,
You know what that puts me in the mind of? The movie Stripes with Bill Murray and Harold Ramis, where they're going to the Army recruiter, and the Army recruiter asks them if either one of them is homosexual, and they say no, but we're willing to learn. I mean, how do you answer a question like that? Harming
well,
yourself or somebody else,
well,
I'm sorry, but now I'm hearing Alice's restaurant in the back of my mind.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Shrink.
here's the thing. I have a comeback for that. I don't answer with no. I answer with, if you knew how many people hated that I'm still alive, I'm staying alive just to piss them off. And it's like, we don't know how to write that down.
You don't know how many people I have met in my life that is their entire reason for living. It's
You
just to piss off as many people as possible that they are still alive
Yeah.
and they are not knuckling under and they are happy and just living the best life they can in the hopes of the people that dislike the fact that they're happy and living the best life they can will just utterly
All
explode.
right, Carl. Yeah, Donna has been quiet, so she's probably
uh,
fell asleep petting the cat.
yeah.
Which can be easy to do.
Yes.
Daryl always used to call Elrond my kitty tranquilizer.
And make sure the cat isn't going to fall off the railing
Yeah.
of the
Well,
stairs.
he was not wrong. I mean,
Hey, I'm scared. I'll tell you, my gray cat scares me. When he hops up in my lap wanting to love me, it all he is buttering me up for the attack.
yep. This is the the sneak attack waiting for the opportunity to happen.
Yeah. And we got two cats. We got the black cat and the gray cat. They are actually brother and sister from the same mother. They're brother and sister. She does not want to be touched by humans. She doesn't even want to be looked at by humans. She's that feral. But the other day, I walked up to her and just slid my foot out of my slipper and started petting her with my foot. And she just laid there and just loved on it, rolled over on her back and let me rub her chest. I rubbed her belly a couple times. I could see those hind legs getting ready to kick. It's like, okay. But she'll let me pet her with her foot, with my foot, but she will not let me touch her with her hand.
Elrond will get like right here, and he will lay on top of my hand. So my hand is cupping his chest and belly, and I just do this, and he'll just,
Mm.
I got
The
4
only
feral
cat I've ever
cats that I
seen.
feed.
Go
And
ahead.
Dan has seen Gray Cat butter me up.
Mhm.
And the switch is that. It's 1 minute he's just love, then he'll turn back and look at you and lay those ears and that I'm gonna cue up look. And it's one of those that it's okay. How do I diffuse this fur bomb with fish hooks?
That's when you invent the catapult.
Yeah. Hello, Parley. Welcome to the show. And Ugg
Several new
Hunter.
people. Several new people tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Uh, we hope that you find some entertainment and
Entertainment.
enlightenment. Entertainment mostly,
Yeah.
enlightenment in some cases. And hey, we aims to please. Oh, Donna, yeah. First Medicare wellness appointment. Most of the questions were about emotional health. 24/7, y'all. 24/7.
You could sarcastically answer the harm yourself or someone else question with no, but do you have any ideas? And you'll end up with that white jacket on in the rubber room. That's how you can't mess with them too much.
And
Oh,
Carl is right. Carl does have a screenshot of just before the cat attack.
hmm
I have 4
You want to
feral
see?
cats that I feed outside, and they don't ever hang around each other. So I don't know if they're friendly to each other or not. Last night I'm sitting outside um, my kitchen door, uh, and I'm watching the calico one darting in and out of the cornfield. And the corn is sky high over here, and it's silking. And then all of a sudden, out of the other side of the cornfield, here comes the black and white one. And when one darts into the cornfield, the other one darts out, but they're nowhere near each other. So I don't know if they were playing with each other or if they were chasing field mice, which I highly suspect, or what it was. But it was very entertaining to watch it, though. And this went on for about probably close to 20 minutes.
Yep, we had one. I saw it yesterday, right as I came home from work. One of the tabbies gave out a not her usual call, and one of the creamsicle cats, the one that's usually the bully, jumps up, runs over, and starts nuzzling her nose. And I'm going, yeah, okay, y'all are cousins, but this is Georgia, so it's almost legal. It's not like some of the places a little further northwest where it's completely legal, but she's been fixed, so ain't no problem there. Um, but this the creamsicle cat is the one that's pretty much been the big bully for years now, and some of the other cats, the males and females, have faced his inexplicably random fits of temper.
I can't
Uh,
find that picture of the cat right before he attacked me.
Okay.
Carl,
well,
That was my kitty boy. Just so
yeah.
you
yep, that was Elrond. He's a
know.
sweet little thing.
He is.
Right, got a little bit of Siamese in him.
Yeah,
About
I call
half.
him Elrond Half Siamese. His mama was a feral, and the resulting litter was mixed, and he was the only Siamese-looking one in the lot.
Oh,
So our previous cat was either a Siamese or a Tonkinese, and nearest we could figure from the various and sundry kittens, apparently somebody's pedigreed Siamese was bred and then got loose and found a non-pedigreed companion, and the resulting litter was mixed and couldn't be pedigreed. So what did they do with it? They dumped it
Dump
by the
it.
side of the road.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
Can y'all hear that? Y'all didn't hear that? Well,
No,
it's still
briefly.
rolling.
Hmm.
It's still rolling.
well,
Yeah, now that was a long roll of thunder.
that's why they call it weather. Whether or
Once
not it hits,
Yeah.
it's not up to us. It's up to Mother Nature. Um, Now we do have a next door neighbor who is possibly in the running for not the best pet parent in the world, and we have had several escapees from that particular property who have gone feral in the woods and come up and adopt us because we're decent people. And Lindsay's got a beautiful charcoal gray, almost gunmetal gray, but with almost invisible tabby markings. He is gorgeous, but the only one he will get near is Lindsay. I will open the door to let him in, knowing she's standing right next to me. He will not come past me, but if I step back and she opens the door, boom, he's in like a shot. Doesn't matter if it's the house or the porch or whatever, but loves her, scared to death of me. And I've never done anything to him except hold the door. Um, and no Game of Thrones jokes, please. Um, I will be leaving for work in the mornings, and there's one flock of them that's outside in the yard because they decided they didn't want to be inside the chain link fence. And there's the other flock of them inside the chain link fence because they decided they didn't want to be in the yard. And sometimes the twain will meet. And they're all, except for the ferals that come up, they're all related. And I'll open the door, and three or four will run in on the porch, waiting on Lindsay to come out and put the porch cat food on the porch. And this one just kind of stands there and looks at me, and I'll hold the door, and I'll go, "Come on, Agate. I've got to go to work. I ain't got time to be Carlton the doorman for you." And he'll either come in and run past me like he's terrified, or he will run off around the corner of the chain link fence. So, and I just go, "Okay, I know I'm on. The alarm clock's gone off. I'm on borrowed time here. I've got to get out of the driveway before the traffic gets fierce. I'll go start up the car and pull out, and some days I'll see him go straight right up on the porch after I'm out of the way. We do leave the screened-in porch door propped open with a cord to hold it, keep it from swinging in the wind. But they can come in and out however they want. Um, it's about like having a door with a cat flap in it, but you don't have to clean the plastic cat flap from all the noses butting up against it. If you've ever had a door with cat flap or a dog flap, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just the act of a pet opening that little swingy gets it.
Filthy.
Yeah, and that's the best word for it. Either you're going to stand there every day and clean it like you were cleaning a window, or you're going to find another solution, which is basically don't have the cat flap, just prop the door open uh, and keep it from swinging open, which is easy enough to do. I mean, especially if you've got the uh, improvise and adapt mentality of somebody that grew up on a farm or is married to somebody that grew up on a farm.
Oh,
Uh,
Stephanie, did you see what I posted from Amazon that I wanted real bad? That I need about 5 or 6 orders of
I saw the post, but seeing as how it's from you, I ain't clicking on any link.
No,
the
I don't
rubber
guess I did.
chickens.
Oh,
The rubber
rubber.
Oh
chickens.
my. Oh my.
Oh, next thing you
You
know, you'll be getting the paint on imitation barbecue sauce to go on them for HallowCon.
no, no, they are for HallowCon.
Yeah.
Stephanie knows what they're for.
I can make a real good guess. Yeah.
And
Now,
I just don't know when I'm going to pull it
Okay.
because it's a one shot deal.
Yeah.
You can only do it once,
Saturday night probably. Ah, I shall return.
and I saw that 10 for that price. Yeah, I'm going to need at least 60. So anymore.
I swear that sounded like it should have been something off of Forbidden Planet. Close your eyes, and that was creepy sounding.
Oh,
Hey, Ryan. Yes, I am feeling better. I've been taking antibiotics for the sinus and ear infection, and it was a 10-day round. I'm almost finished. So, yes, the pressure has reduced. Things are starting to drain. Occasionally, I get downright hoarse because everything's going through my throat. But yeah, doing better. The foot, on the other hand, eh, okay, yeah, okay. I'm really wondering. It never hurt to walk on, but by the look of that bruise, how did I not break anything?
yes.
I would take a picture and show y'all, but my I can't figure out my camera is washes out the color of the bruising, so I can't figure out how to make it show up.
Oh, and Stephanie, I'm fixing to pop a picture up here. Look in the lower right corner.
Oh my. Okay, yeah, I can see that expression on the cat's face. Yeah, things are about to get uh hinky.
Yeah, it ended up one of those that saw what he's doing, and I just went and turned my head this way and up over top of my head and off the back of the chair. I, there was no. I knew it was
Yeah.
time to let him go. Oh, I just moved. Damn.
Well,
Damn.
it's kind of like Calvin from the said about Hobbes in the Calvin and Hobbes cartoon. You know, I keep forgetting that 5 of his 6 ends are pointy.
Yeah.
You ever seen those Simon Cats little
The song.
animated
Yes,
videos? Okay.
yes, I love
Be,
those.
besides the funny little animated videos, they actually have uh, instructional videos and tips on uh, taking care of your cat. The one I was watching one night was a British lady, actually, which I'm assuming all that comes from Great Britain anyway. But the British lady was talking about mannerisms of cats that where you can figure out what's going on with them, since they can't really talk to you, and telling all different things about how they have their ears. If their ears are straight back, that means they're afraid or apprehensive. The rolling on their back, where most people claim that, oh, they want a belly rub, is actually them showing that they trust you because they're exposing their, a very
The,
sensitive part or their Achilles heel, so to speak.
the soft part.
And
Hmm.
hmm and so it was about 10-15 minutes long, but it was very educational. Some couple of the things I knew about already, but there was a lot that I didn't pick up on, but totally made sense once you heard them, talking about it. And she had one of their cats there, a black cat. I forget the name. She said it, but and she was demonstrating a few things with the cat, and it reacted in the ways that she said. And
I, having had cats for years, when I started messing around with horses, it was really interesting because I discovered that cats and horses, despite one being a herd prey animal and the other one being a predator, there's a lot of the same body language. So I
mhm.
could use having watched my cats to read my horse's moods. That was strange.
Hey Ryan, not much is up. Yeah. There was a couple that has a a boat vlog channel, and they have a pet rabbit as well as a dog. And occasionally they will film the rabbit. The rabbit has the entire well deck of the boat, which is like 6 to 8 feet square,
Mm.
as its little domain. And I was not aware that rabbits play like cats do. Will pick up toys and play with them like cats or little puppy dogs. This cat, I mean, it had a slinky. It was trying to get it to walk. I mean, this rabbit, yeah, it had a slinky. It was trying to get it to walk, and it would pick up one end and let it snap back down, and then try and knock it to go over. And I had the little uh, ball with the bill inside cat toy, and the rabbit was playing with that too, bouncing around, batting it around, and picking it up and throwing it and going and getting it. And I'm going, rabbits is one of the few pets that I have not had. I had no idea they were that playful. And this is one of the long-haired ones, so it's really pretty.
Oh yeah.
There we go. That's a better picture.
Ah, yes.
The look in that cat's eyes, things are fixing to go jiggy.
Uh-huh.
Cat Joe Dog's been slapped.
It's
Skippity,
alive.
skippity pap's what they call it. And he was
Mm-hmm.
plotting. He was getting ready for a skippity pap.
Getting ready to rake your ear off the side of your head.
When you were talking about a rabbit on a boat, what immediately came to mind was not a rabbit on a boat, but a chicken on a boat. The chicken on the boat from Moana.
Mm.
The
Not
little
seen that
chicken.
one yet.
You have not seen that one? That one's actually it's pretty good, and the chicken is stupid. The
Oh,
chicken is so stupid, it's funny.
you would be amazed at some of the things that you see on some of these videos. There was somebody going by somebody else's boat, and they go, "Wow, that's a great statue of a heron. That looks really lifelike." And then the damn thing flew off. Sorry,
They
Stephanie, I
stay
didn't mean
pretty
to do
still
that.
until,
Yeah, I mean it's just standing there, and all of a sudden, flap, 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 flap. You know,
I've seen a lot of them out at
Big- and
Homer
it's
Lake, which is not far from us, but they will stand really still by the edge, and then all of a sudden their head just goes boom
yeah,
underneath water.
they're they're fishing. Yeah.
Yep. They come back up and they raise their head all the way up high until they get that fish going down in their throat.
Well,
Now,
the thing that made it confusing is people will have sculptures on the roof of their
Mhm.
boat or on the bow or whatever, or even places along the bank that has
now,
waterfront property, and it'll be just you know really really beautiful little sculpture things, and then all of a sudden one of them will move, and you go, that's not a sculpture.
well, we've got a boat ramp at the bottom of the hill going to the Tennessee River from my house, and there's a heron that camps out on the little dock right there.
Hmm.
And people mainly fish there. There's a sign up that says, "Warning: Heron will steal your fish." Um,
Okay.
and then somebody underneath says, "Just give it to him."
Yeah, really. He's got a
Now,
spear. Don't
are
fight
they
him.
stealing it as you're reeling it in,
When
or
it
the
comes
ones that already on the stringer?
when it comes up out of the water and you're taking it off the stringer, as soon as he sees your hand come away from its mouth, your hand is in his mouth, and he's trying to take the fish. And I asked one old guy sitting down there, I go, "What do you do about him?" He goes, "It's simple. First one I bring in, I don't even care. I unhook it, throw it to him, and he leaves me alone."
Yep. It's either that or
Now,
try and find a recipe.
Yeah. Well, you don't want a recipe because they're still endangered the way they're talking.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we
Pterodactyl
have the blue heron up here that are like that. You can't
Pterodactyl
touch them.
soup, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
We have Salt Fork River. Oh, this would have been 30 years ago or more. Me, my brother, and a bunch of friends, and maybe even Walt might have been with us that particular day. But we were fishing. We had a stringer full of catfish, and my brother caught another one or caught something. He was going to add that to the stringer, and he pulled the stringer up, and half of our fish are all chewed up, and chewing on the last one on the end is a big old snapping turtle.
Oh yeah, they'll strip a stringer. Well,
Yep.
I have pulled up. I've been fishing all day.
Yep.
Pulled up a stringer right at dark, and had a stringer full of fish heads. Eat them up, yum.
Yep.
Hmm.
At, after that point,
And
my brother
if
bought
you
one of the wire mesh baskets to put them down in there and attach the stringer to that.
yeah. Now, one of the things, if you've ever used trot line and you've got a float that is way down underwater, that ain't a fish. Not anymore. Might have used to be, But now it's a turtle.
Yeah, Walter says snappers are good eating.
And you
Yep.
either gonna have to look up you either gonna have to look up a recipe for turtle mole or cut the line and let that one go.
We used to have a
Because
guy that worked on what they call the.
chances are it's gonna be heavy enough to where unless you got a good trot line, you're not pulling it in. And
We
even
had
then you're
a
taking your life in your own hands.
we had a guy at work who worked on what we call the vac truck that cleans out the storm drains. Every now and
Hmm.
then he'd come in and they would park the truck outside the gate. He'd go get his car, back his car up to the thing, open the trunk, not the inside of the car, into the trunk, and they'd open up one of the side cubby doors, and he would take lineman gloves to reach in and grab them and throw two or three turtles into the trunk. He says, "We're eating good this weekend."
Joe Dog, I'm seeing some
That's the
flashes
kind
on
of
your
thing. If
screen.
you have that kind of luck,
Say what, Dan? Am I
Did he
I
still
said if
freeze
here?
up?
you're having that kind of luck, church is gonna have a turtle mole.
Yeah.
And if Bill's seeing flashes on your screen, I'm going. You're gonna have to start charging Barry Allen rent if
Yeah.
he's hanging
Well,
around long enough to be seen.
he was talking about the thunderstorms and that earlier, and I didn't know if that's where the flashes were coming from or if it was coming from
Oh,
his computer. I just saw it flash again.
Yeah, I did too.
It's actually flashing on his T-shirt and the back of his chair and everything.
Where's the window?
Out there that way.
Well,
We've
could
just
be. You
had.
don't.
I've watched red. I mean, reds and oranges move over top of my house, and the streets dry.
Yeah, it's not dropping anything, or if it is, it's Virga and evaporating before it hits the ground.
Well, the humidity's too high for it to be
yeah.
doing that. It needs to come all the way down.
We haven't
Well,
even
if the
had it rain
humidity,
in the backyard and be bright and sunny in the front yard. So
Yeah, that's in good
literally
southern
speaking.
storms.
Hey, as long as the sky ain't green,
Yeah.
I'm okay. When the sky turns green,
you head for the
we
storm cellar.
closing every window and every door, and dude, I ain't got a storm cellar. The best thing we got is the bathtub, and that's brick wall on one side, and the rest of the house on the other three sides, and that ain't no guarantee right there. Uh, Mom's house has a basement. We have, when I was younger, we have spent a little bit of time hunkering down in the basement, waiting on the the train that has no tracks to go by.
Been
And
there,
if
done
you've
that.
ever been through a tornado, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Uh, now,
There's also, to my
the
way of
nice
thinking,
thing
there's
about the
also the
place where
sound of a
I
jet
live,
engine.
Yes. That's. I mean, I've been
hmm
within a quarter mile of one, and it sounds like a jet engine.
It
Of
may
a.
depend on whether
yep.
or not it's actually on the ground.
uh, yeah,
Dan, are you locking up?
I have been within. I hope not.
Yes.
Yeah, you've been
You
freezing
Your
froze
up.
up a
your
minute ago,
audio's
but that was
fine,
just
but your
on my
video's
end.
freezing. No, your
Me or
audio
her?
is fine, Dan, but your video is freezing.
Well, that shouldn't be. I'm on the good computer.
Yeah.
Now well, you
I
were.
still got the same internet, but I'm on the good computer.
Yeah, Ace, that's what we're talking about. That's
Oh,
one of the warning
I
signs of a tornado is green
Yep,
skies.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
yep. And they don't even have to be close. It just means conditions are right in your area. You might want to, fill
And
up
if
the
you get
bathtub with water, or to make sure you got the oil lamps and the candles ready.
and if you got green skies and pink
Uh,
lightning, you're in trouble.
It's on top of you.
Yeah.
ooh,
And the pink lightning is hail.
Oh, okay. Now I have, me and John talked about it about the tornado that hit Chickamauga Dam, their lock project. That's
Hmm.
literally eye shot of my house. I walked out of my little back building when it was the T pit office. I thought, sounds weird outside. So I walked out, opened the door, and looked up and saw a purple cinnamon bun in the sky. I'm going, that's not good, is it? No. So I run inside and
no.
get Donna. We all got to the center hallway, and it was sort of moved on. And I walked out on the front porch, and my next door neighbor, who's from Ohio, goes, closest to a tornado I've been since I left Ohio. I said, what? He goes, yeah. I watched it blow part of the dam away. And it was actually the train bridge up by Chickamauga Dam. It just,
Oh,
the sheds on top of it, I mean, it just obliterated.
Yeah, I think I saw John
uh,
a while back sent me some video
Yeah,
of the thing from different
angles. Yeah.
directions.
Carl, did you
We
have to
yep.
say that? Did you have to say that, Carl?
Yeah, that's just no. There's a
we see
reason why
green
I haven't
skies up
watched.
here. We just go to Walmart. We don't care. It's normal.
There's a reason what, Stephanie?
Why I haven't watched Twister this year.
Cal,
Mm,
there's another one. No, I think that's the
uh,
same one.
Just watch Wizard of Oz instead. You get the same effect.
no,
Instead of
not
watching a cow
quite.
going
No.
across the sky, you see Margaret Hamilton going across the sky on her bicycle.
I'd rather see Margaret Hamilton. Let me make that perfectly clear. Um, Last year we had one less than 50 yards away from the house. Tore up the neighbor's yard, hopped across the road, ripped the top out of an oak tree, kept going, bouncing. There's something about the geography of this place where most, let me make that clear, of the serious weather splits and goes around us like we were shielded. Uh, that's nothing that you want to depend on. Um, there's at least 5 places in the next county south of us that basically have been labeled Tornado Alley. And people persist in putting trailer parks there no matter how many times they have to replace the trailer parks because the trailers mysteriously disappeared in the middle of the night or the middle of the day
What's
sometimes.
that saying that comedian said about tornadoes and trailer park? God hates trailer parks.
Yeah. Oh, there was a cartoon I saw where some guy walks up on a farmer's porch and says, why you got that trailer out in the middle of that 100-acre field? And he goes, Tornado Alley. I don't live in a trailer. That's just an empty one we put out there as a decoy. Hey, if it works, it may not be science, but
It may
I
not
think,
be science, but it is logic.
hey, I think that falls under the heading of religion right there, or at least
May not be
superstition.
science, but it's science fiction.
Uh, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. Bill, will you quit giving me earworms? That's the third one
Well,
tonight.
if you clean them every once in a while, you wouldn't get those, Dan. And you gave me an earworm when you said, let me make this perfectly clear, because I automatically wanted to go in my Richard Nixon and let me make this perfectly clear.
Mm. See, there you go. Same movie.
Make a
And-
date with the Watergate.
And that's enough. We know.
Yeah, but we couldn't dance.
Okay. I tried.
Yeah, I know you did.
Oh. Well, Dan, what's going to be on Last Man Standing tonight? Are you muted?
Dan is muted. Dan's going to be interviewing mutes on Last Man Standing
All right.
tonight.
Unmute.
Sign
your
it
mic
to
is
us, Dan.
disconnected. Ace with his puns. What do you call a trailer park in a tornado? Wind chimes. Dan, you may have to reboot because it says your mic is not connected. If you hear us, I'm getting a notification when I click, your mic is not connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably going to have to drop out and jump back in.
Yep.
All right. Oh, so Stephanie, did that story finally come out of your brain?
Not completely. I've still got some more to write on it, but I got to a point where I got to stop and think, and so I stopped and I decided to come on the show and just kick back for a little while, and hopefully it'll process in the back of my head. And but yeah, I'm real pleased.
Yeah. I'm thinking instead of trying to write, a full story, all right, let's bring Dan in.
Now I can hear you.
There we
Okay.
go.
Yep. Something in almost the end of the show just totally killed my sound.
And it killed your microphone too.
Yeah, exactly. Everything went.
No,
Uh,
what I think I'm going to do is instead is just write shorter stories
Hmm.
instead of trying to make a long drawn out story. Make a shorter story to where I can. That
Well,
way, if I get stuck on a story, I can start a new one.
I owe people some books, so I have got to get to where I can write a full length novel again, and
It-
actually maintain some coherence all the way through writing it.
Yeah.
Well, it was a dark and stormy night, but they lived happily ever after the end.
yes. All right.
Yeah. And one of the
Cover art part of So the painting is still proposed, and the writing is coming along very, very slowly. I'm only getting about 200, maybe 300 words a day at that, and some days I don't get any. So sometimes it's only about 500 words a week. But it's coming along. The characters are talking to me again. So
Now I have a publisher friend who hates the it was a dark and stormy night. He hates that, just hates it. So I submitted him a story that started out, it was a bright, sunshiny day.
I can
He's
see
like,
clearly now.
I love the Peanuts ongoing running gags with that, where
Yes.
Snoopy's on top of the doghouse typing away. It was a dark and stormy night. All of a sudden, a shot rang out, and it goes on and on and on, which was
Suddenly a
so-
pirate ship loomed over the horizon.
Well, that's it. That's Sparky's way of saying that things were getting a little bit bad as far as with writing certain books and stuff, to where he's, of course, being sarcastic about it, with Snoopy writing it. But what I like even better is the form letters that Snoopy gets in the mail, form rejection letters
Yes.
from the editors, and what they said, and it gets hilarious every time I see one of those.
all right.
I just got the 3-minute warning for Last Man, and that was a minute ago.
Yeah. So we're going to have to say good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for dropping in, Stephanie, Bill, Dan. And I guess we'll see y'all Saturday
Elron.
night. And Elron. We will see y'all Saturday night, 11 o'clock. Dan, I'm going to hand it over to you for Last Man Standing. If you're not on one of Dan's channels, I advise start migrating in that direction, and we will see you all next or Saturday night. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night, everybody.
Okay, hit the right button this time, dummy. There we go.
Hit the button, Max.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds, and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.